Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Talk This Way podcast. I am your host, Matt Bishop. Very honored today to have one of the rock and roll mainstays for a long time now, Mr. Leigh Kakaty of Pop Evil. What's going on, my brother?
Not much, man. I'm excited to be on. Thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, man. I really appreciate you, stopping by and taking some time. It's been a while since you and I chatted, dude. I don't even know. It could be like 8, 10 years, maybe, at a Uproar festival or something like that. I don't even remember, but it's really good to see you again, man.
We're due then. We're due for another interview for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So busy time for you guys. We're gearing up for the album release, Skeletons. The new LP is out March 17th. And you guys got a big headline tour coming up. How's it going? What's the deal?
Exciting stuff, right? Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
It's the album number 7, Skeletons. We're stripping it back down to the bones, right? We all got them. We all got those skeletons. So
Mm-hmm.
it's an awesome record, man. And when you base your career on your own personal growth and your band's growth, it's definitely the evolution for Pop Evil. And I feel like, with the studio album progress, just the process in general for the band's always been so rushed. It's just, I think we came up in an era where, hey, this is your budget. This is how many songs you make. Whatever you make is going on the album. So now, as we've gotten further in our career, we were able to kind of experiment with songs that maybe work or don't work. We can hey, that song's not going to make this record. It just doesn't fit. Or, so I really feel like, we've been able to shape our sound a bit and be able to, play with different things. But at the same time, I guess respect the fans that have been there from the beginning, but at the same time, be open to the future and not afraid to take the sound wherever it needs to be to just make sure we stay in the forefront, stay relevant, man. So it's a competitive business.
Yeah, for sure. And you guys have been maybe one of the most reliable bands for 10 years now, more. What's the secret? I mean, it's a tough industry. I feel like hard rock itself is even a tougher niche to survive in, to tour in. How have you guys managed to get to this point?
Well, I feel like still we have a lot of work to do. I think with Pop Evil, there's still a lot of people who don't know the band. I mean, maybe they recognize the songs when they hear us, but they still don't know who necessarily we are individually yet. So there's a lot to do. It's like you said, hard rocks, uh, metal, alternative. I mean, we've all kind of been squeezed into the same kind of label for years. Unless you're in it, then of course there's the sub labels that we all know where we are and where we stand. But I think being able to be open to um, kind of mesh all those styles, and stay again. I think this is an era where again we don't have the MTV, we don't have that mass exposure that they did, all those years ago. So you have to be open to be creative to get the newer, younger fans, or you just don't stay relevant. Like if your fans, as they get married, as they roll on, that maybe they're listening a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, for if it was me, but whatever, I'm biased. But I mean, I think it's so important to understand what those younger kids want and try to get as many of them interested in your band and this sound. And it's tough. It's a challenge, man. So just, again, not trying to live in a box, I think is important, at least for our band. I mean, we've been, I think it's a blessing and a curse for some fans that hate it, but I think for the others, they love it. So again, you just got to be true to yourself, man. And wherever the stars fall, that's where it falls. You got to be happy with your musical journey and open to just keep learning. And I think that for us, we're always like trying to, write music that makes us excited on stage. Because with Pop Evil, it's all about that live show. So, what songs do we already have? What songs don't we have that's missing from the set that we can add to make this live experience even more fun for the fans and grow our live show and our live show experience as much as possible. So I think that those are things we think about. But again, it's hard to focus on that stuff when you're really in it because it happens so fast. It's about the next song, it's about that next album, and we've just been blessed to be able to just still be in the game and crushing and we've been. I feel like it's been a steady climb with Pop Evil. So hopefully one of these albums we can take a little bit bigger steps and keep going. But again, we're not afraid to take some chances and fall on our face if that's what we have to do. But there's a talented group of people around, and not just me, but the band, and we're excited about the future and where we can take it. So we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah, man. Well said. Well said. And I want to go back to kind of, what you were just saying about, um, reaching like kind of the new fans, the younger fans, but also you mentioned, this album, it says it right in the title, Skeletons, we all got them. I feel like some of the older fans, people that have been there, since album one, since, the club days, this might really hit home for them in particular because they've gone through more stuff in their life. And so have you guys. And now you guys are kind of digging deep into your own souls a little bit, letting some skeletons out of the closet, and perhaps they can, relate to that because they've gone through some more stuff, on their own.
Yeah, certainly. It's we've always been a very lyric driven, positive lyric writing type band. I think it just comes with me as a songwriter. I'm trying to write the music that can help me get through these times, and I think that's the interesting thing for me. Music has always been that kind of cure, that medicine that I've needed to kind of get through those struggles and those trials, in life. And I think when you sit down to write, a lot of your own experiences come out in that, and they become something that's certainly relatable to my family and friends close to me, and then the band as well. I'm sure each band member's got their own story with it, but when you can write something that can help people in any way is a huge honor. And sure, we want to have fun and we want to rage and we want to throw down on stage, but at the end of the day, to leave some kind of a legacy to help someone in a positive way is a true honor. And it's something that gives us purpose. Being able to do this when you can take some positivity out of it, man, it makes it even that much more worthwhile.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, they go to shows because it's kind of like, therapy in a way. And they have maybe those one or two songs that are like, yeah, I need to hear this right now. I need to hear this to make it through. And I think you guys definitely have a couple of those tracks already in your catalog. And just, judging by, what we're talking about and what I'm reading about this new one, it sounds like they might get a couple more that they can really use to get through some shit.
Yeah, I'm 100%. We're excited about this record. Obviously, can't wait to see what the fans think. And like I said before, it feels like it's that next evolution for the band, and we're definitely coming into our own off the stage. I think that adds more confidence and swag just on stage. Like we know who we are now as individuals, and I think when you put all five of us together, we're open to support each other. And obviously, the five of us have totally different musical interests when you really break it down. So, being open to everyone's ideas and where this song's going to go. And then again, we all are on the same page when it comes to what are we just had a phone call last night about, how these new songs are going to play into the live show, and being open to trying them once we hit rehearsals. I mean, I know that everyone's got their favorites, but everyone's excited to try some of the B-sides and even from the past couple records, because the Versatile album that we wrote before this, they all kind of like were written around the same time, so it was it's interesting. You write these albums and then they come out years later and you're already into the next stuff. You're already writing the newer stuff. So it's exciting though. I think for Pop Evil we only had two tours lately. We had a spring summer tour in 21 and then a spring summer tour in 2022. So there's still a lot of people who haven't heard either of these albums. So it's going to be almost like we're touring on these two albums with two new albums. So I know that leads to a lot of excitement for us personally and our teams, our families. So we're looking forward to a lot of new excitement and energy on that stage on this particular Skeletons tour. So those fans who are on the fence, you definitely want to make it out to this. It's a totally different Pop Evil, and we're excited about growing and where the future can take us.
You guys, how do I say it? You guys paint with a very broad brush musically, but I did read a quote from you about this album. It says this is probably the heaviest Pop Evil outing of all time. I mean, are we talking like, what is this, like Last Man Standing heavy? Like, are we gonna see some mosh pits? What's going on?
I think it's heavier than Last Man Standing. I mean, we're having a little more fun, but even the mid tempos have that guitar crunch.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard three songs already with Eye of the Storm, Paranoid, and Dead Reckoning. We did some experimenting too with collaborating just to see where that would take us. But definitely the guitar tones on this record for Pop Evil are definitely crunchier, heavier, more bite. It's just, again, we kind of know what our fans want from us, and I think the beauty of experimenting and being able to tour for and make albums for as many years as we have is you kind of can tell, what your fan bases want. And, and you can experiment for sure. But if you experiment too far, you got to reel it back. And if you reel it back too far too, then you don't get any new fans. So trying to walk that thin line has been fun. I mean, I think that's what makes this process just so, it's like a game of chess, right? You
Yeah.
enjoy it. It's kind of interesting to be like, okay, what are the fans going to like about this next record? What are we going to do moving forward? And I think when you get to some of those B-sides or the end of the record, when singles or whatever the corporate business machine is, okay, we feel like we got these songs done now. Fine, now let's do some stuff we want to do. And I know that's when we added the collaborations on this last record. That was the big part of it. It was like, okay, well, let's have some fun. I mean, all these other genres are able to collab in ways that are so much different than it is in the rock and metal world. So I was like, what if we infuse some of that? I mean, you get some of these great people that bring all this amazing talent on their perspective. If you bring it over to yours, what would it be like? So I know when we got to the end of this particular record, we wanted to have a little more fun and just enjoy the process. I think that every album from now on gets a little bit harder in the sense that you see the future a little bit clearer. That like, how long do you really want to do this? How long can you do this? Or how long are you going to be blessed to do it? And even though, sure, we want to go on for many more years, don't get me wrong, but you definitely, you feel the urgency, to just write great things and leave your mark, and again, you're never going to make everyone happy. You get that. That's not really the goal anymore. It's the goal is to just write music for your fan base, open to bringing new fans in, people that want to listen to your message. You want to be willing to open the door for them, but at the same time, you want to respect those fans that have been with you from the beginning and who appreciate your evolution. I mean, we don't want to. If you want to go listen to a band that plays the same song on every album, has the same sound, we're not going to be your favorite band, But if you want a band, which I think is so interesting, because this business is moving towards, it's going to be single based. I mean, probably sooner than later. Like, do you really want to make albums anymore? I mean, I don't. I'd rather do a couple singles and put the money in really putting the budget behind these music videos to really tell the story. I mean, I think for most writers, they'll tell you when you write songs, you have, at least for me, I have a music video in my head. So when you write these songs, you're putting it in a story in your head. You're trying to tell it visually and sonically. So I think for me, it would be more fun to release singles, I don't know, 2 or 3 or singles at a time. And then you're able to put that extra money into creating that visual. With YouTube and the way people are now really getting your content, it's all visual now. Like, I mean, we could spend millions on a music video, but I could do a little, FaceTime with you here, and it's going to get me more views just with my iPhone here. It's ridiculous, So it's so visual, and it's just people want what they want, and they want it now, and I like that. I'm the same way, So kind of studying trends and trying to find your niche in that has become, just as important as the music itself, which is crazy because, none of us musicians got, at least from our era, got into it for that. We didn't want to have to do FaceTimes, and we didn't want to have to do, social media at all. We just want to play the music and go hide back in our caves, So it's just, it's interesting how this dynamic has changed, and you just got to embrace it, and got to embrace that positivity. It's good for us. It gets us riled up, and it gets the fans an opportunity to see, the bands they love and listen to. I mean, you think about, for some of us, for the music, I mean, we're in people's homes more than the president is, So, I mean, if you like a certain band, you're listening to that band 100 times a day, and you come see us, we don't know. You could be like, hey, I love that new song of yours. I absolutely love it. And you've listened to it, a million times before you, and in passing, you're like, oh, great. Thank you so much. You don't even realize, just how much people might grasp your band and how much they're living in your band's world. So I think it's important to understand those dynamics and be responsible. I think that's the point I'm at in my career. It's like, I want to be responsible to wear that hat for our fans that do love our band. If they do want anything Pop Evil knowledge, it comes through me. I've started the band when I was, 15 years old. And, here it is now, 7 albums in our career. We never would have thought we were here. So, it's a testament to those young bands to just be you, man. You're never going to have everyone who's going to love your band. You're never going to have enough tickets sold. You're never going to have enough CDs sold. You're never going to have enough cities and tours that you played. You just enjoy it, man. You enjoy the ride, and you enjoy it with the people. You surround yourself with the people that can understand and appreciate your hard work and your journey. And when you do that, you really can see the light and you really appreciate, because you always hear that saying, right? You hear that saying that, well, if I just had one fan at a time, I'm gonna appreciate it. But once
Hmm.
you really start appreciating that one fan at a time, you can enjoy this process that much more. And it's challenging. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, you want to, sell out arenas every night. Who doesn't want to sell out Madison Square Garden? When we were kids, just to dream those dreams. And maybe one day rock will be rock, metal, alternative, all this kind of genres that we kind of are infused in. Hopefully we will be king again, and if we can be one of those bands to just help another band find that strength and motivate, then that's our purpose in this. And in the meantime, we're going to keep growing. We're going to keep pushing the boundaries, keep pushing those guitar tones to make sure that they crunch, make sure that they're upbeat, make sure that when you listening to this album, even at a mid-tempo song, you're bopping, you're singing. And then after you get musically first, it's almost like, and again, excuse me, I'm segueing because I'm remembering just different ideas as I'm
Oh,
talking to
good,
you.
man.
It's almost like music first now for Pop Evil, and for so long, we grew up in an area with radio. Obviously, we're a radio band that it's lyric, choruses first, choruses. But now, I think for Pop Evil, I guess a better way to explain it is we're music first. Bury the vocal. Like, let the music captivate you first, and once you do, then Pop Evil does what our strength has always been with pure melody. I'm a melodic singer, and once you catch the hook, and if you feel it, then you're going to listen to it on repeat several times. But if you're not, then cool, get out of here. Go find a
Hmm.
different band you like and let someone else that likes it step up. So it's just kind of, it's music's very subjective, man. It's what you like. It's just almost like, it's always kind of been funny to me because we grow up in a country with freedom of speech. Well, you don't like a band, you don't like it, man. Like, it's your choice. But there's
Yeah.
so many people. It's somebody's perspective on their life and their life lessons, and we put it via song. So for those people who do enjoy it, I think it's so humbling to just keep being creative for them. Give them those little elements that are true Pop Evil, but at the same time, give them something that they've never heard. And I think Skeletons gives you, for the first time, if you're a Pop Evil fan, especially an old school Pop Evil fan, to be like, wow, like, we can see these guys growing up. And that's literally Pop Evil. We've literally grown up in front of your eyes. If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you're listening to us in the studio, we become better studio musicians along the way. And I think that, for me, is exciting as a fan. When my favorite bands, you watch them grow and get better. You watch them with age, So I mean, it's truly cool that to be able to do that and to be able to grow and to just challenge yourself, man, push yourself. That's the beauty. So I think you definitely will hear that when you hear this new album, Skeletons of Ours. We're definitely proud of it and can't wait to finally be on stage to play it.
Yeah, man. And I think, you touched on it a couple of times, like the evolution of Pop Evil and, not straying too far from Pop Evil, but also, being kind of adventurous. And, I was talking about this a couple of days ago with Tyler from Theory of a Dead Man. And, their last two albums were kind of like a little more alternative, a little lighter, and he just said, like, I don't know. I put down the guitar and I sat down at the piano for a couple of years. Like, we evolved, we tried some new stuff, and fans have got to do a better job of realizing that artists need to do that, or they're either going to be boring or they're just going to collapse and be gone forever. So you have got to realize that, yeah, they are like these big rock stars, on stage, larger than life, but they're also just people. And you guys have to do what you got to do. You have to experiment. You have to grow and change. And, you just fans need to allow you guys, to do that. And, hopefully they do. I think most of them will. I'm talking about, of a handful of people here, but yeah, they got to realize, and this isn't Pop Evil. Well, yeah, it is. Read the liner notes, like,
And it's
written
a
by
different
Leigh.
it's a different time too, right? And I mean, obviously, I'm really close with the Theory of a Dead Man camp, and kudos for Tyler for, yeah. Sometimes you're at a different place, man. You're not like I'm in a place where, around Footsteps. I just lost my dad on the albums before, so I was tired of being dark. I was tired of just being, miserable. So, uplifting stuff, Footsteps, those kind of songs are written. And then as that started to fade, it was back to getting heavy. It was back to being aggro again. I wasn't in that place. So when you're not in that place as a writer, it's very tough to write it. I mean, you can force it. You can, you can have someone else write it. You can do your thing, but like that's just not what most of us musicians do. We want it to come from us, and I want it for me specifically. It's got to come from me, or I can't sing it. Like I can't be on stage singing something that I didn't have a part of. It's different for me. You know what I mean? And obviously, there's exceptions, I'm sure, but I mean, I haven't seen the exceptions to this point in my career. But again, I don't want to be unopen to anything in this business because it's just that's the fun of it, But you're right, it's just kind of like when you sit down and sure, fans want you to be, they want you to be like this at all times, or they want you to be down here at all times. It's just unfortunately, you're not making these albums for your fans sometimes, or sometimes you're not making every song of the album for other people. Sometimes you've got a song that's for you, you get judged for it, and you get whatnot, and some people take it, in stride. Some people it breaks them down, and they get upset. So it's just, again, for us, we've never cared about any of it. Like we never even got in this business to get fame or to be in a position. We just wanted to make music, man, and hopefully get paid to be able to do it our way forever. And I think with Pop Evil, if you really look at the brass tacks of who we are, we've done our albums and we've written our music the way we wanted since day one. So, I mean, that to us is the most important thing. And certainly, though, we want to, corral our fans and be open to bringing everyone together. And I think it's important too, for when you've been a band that's been around as long as we have for the format, to have some mainstay bands that can be around, because you know as good as I do that a lot of them have disappeared. Not easy to find bands. I mean, how many times can these big A-listers keep headlining festivals? It's the same show. So if you don't do your part, and you have to prove it, like it just doesn't happen. Pop Evil just doesn't become a headliner overnight. We have a lot of work to do to earn that position. But we accept that challenge, and we want to do our part to become more of a mainstay band in the future. So we can be around to help other bands, and it's more opening bands for other bands to tour with, and just a part of this community that is rock and metal and all this scene. And as we see more of these bands start to team up on tours, collaborate on these tours, package up together, I think it's important, man. We can control our own destiny by touring with each other. Not just with the same people all the time, or not just hanging with the same. Come out of your shell a bit to tour with this person or work with this person, because their fan bases now grow, the whole community grows, and that's certainly something that we're trying to do by even bringing out the bands now that you see on this particular tour. We're bringing the tours we brought out in the past. We're just trying to do our part to just spread love throughout our fan base, to give them not only great music, but to show them bands that they might not have seen otherwise. So, I mean, I think that's definitely something that's important to us as well. And when we get finished with every new album, that's definitely something at the top of the list we'd like to do, is who are we going to package up with on these headline tours to make it even, more of an experience for our fans. So again, comes back full circle to these live shows.
Very cool, man. Yeah, so you guys got this headlining run coming up, the Skeletons tour. We got Welcome to Rockville down in Florida. Fans can catch you there. Anything else lined up for the summer, maybe into fall?
Yeah, we got, we're still booking into the summer and fall. There's a couple things on the plate, but we're still talking. I know we're gonna go to Europe here in May. We had our Europe tour was postponed. We're gonna go try to make that up now finally. So I know we're really excited to kind of branch out to our fans overseas, and then just keep pushing this album, man. A lot of the same thing. This business is very very simple but very grueling. Got to just get out there and play, man. You've got to go prove it to everybody on stage, and to get out there and grind. And we just keep pushing to make our live show that much better. We want it to sound great, we want it to look great, and we want people to leave having a good time. And I think that's our goal moving forward. I mean, summer, lots more touring, and fall as well. And then I think, by the end of the year, hopefully we start writing for the next record. I know that got a lot written already, but I'm ready, man. Let's get it going. It seems like this business is all about the next. So let's get the next
right.
out. This one's out.
Well, dude, I can't thank you enough for taking some time to stop by. It was beautiful seeing you. I don't know what show I'm going to get out to. Maybe Jersey, maybe out in Lidditz at the Black Box. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see, but I'll catch up with you, man. I'll be bringing my camera. So, yeah, we'll get it going for sure. It'll be a lot of fun, man. Pop Evil Skeletons, the new album, is out March 17th. There's a link right down here below to pre-order right now. They got a couple of signed copies in the store, very limited. We got a link down there for you guys to purchase tickets as well for the upcoming headlining tour. And you can also catch them at Welcome to Rockville for all my rock villains out there that are making their way down south for that. So, Leigh, my brother, thank you so much. We will talk to you very soon. Good luck out on the road, man.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, brother.